more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. And if you have something that's going on in your life right now that's challenging, painful, it's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. Because you're worth it. You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing some more 240 cage work. Yesterday I got the door bars cut, notched, bent, all that crap, so they're in place. And then I think I'm going to do 2 more verticals to be within FD rules, and then we can get this tacked in place. So I kind of like how that looks, more of a skinny look. I didn't want it to be too wide because I think it looks goofy when there's like 3 long tubes sticking up, and then it seems to be more safe if it's right in the middle of the door, about halfway up. So that's the way I'm gonna do that. Not sure if I'm gonna do a sill bar yet, but you know, I keep thinking about it, but I'm not sure. I'm out of steel, so if I'm gonna do that, I have to go back to the steel shop to get some more steel. But yeah, I think the goal for today is just to keep working on the actual door bars and get these other 2 cut, notched in place, and then I could tack that windshield bar in place, and I got the 2 rear supports already cut, and then we can get those notched and put in place. So oh, I also cut a lot more of the door out. If you guys can see that, I did the passenger side and I cut all that out. So I actually made a cut here, and then a cut here, and then I pried this thing out. It's kind of held in there with some glue and adhesive, and then that allows me to tuck those door bars even more and touch it straight on the door skin. Now I guess the game is making it so it doesn't actually interfere with closing the door, and then at the same time I need to reinforce the door skin somehow so it's not so floppy. But yeah, that's gonna be the goal for today. So let's hop into that.
You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Alright guys, so we got our first tube notched, and the notches always come out perfect. I use that coping calculator on metalgeeks.com. So if you Google coping calculator metalgeeks.com, it comes up, and then basically you just put in your dimensions of your tube, which in this case is 1.5 DOM, 95 wall, and then what degree notch you want, and then what the mating material is going to be. So in this case it's the same exact size, and then so for example this is a 90-degree notch. A lot of the common ones you're going to be using are like 45s and 90s, maybe some like 50s or 30s, but for the most part it's going to be like a lot of 90s. So yeah, and then I'll kind of just show you. So it prints out these little papers. If you use a PDF one, just hit print, and then it'll come out, and then it's pretty simple. You just draw it onto your tube, trace it out, and that way you don't have to keep making new ones, and then your tube will just fit right in there. And you can kind of just see this one needs a little bit more of that black line taken off there, which is where it's supposed to be anyway. I kind of just underdid it, but I'm going to clean that up a little bit more, and then that tube will fit perfect in there. And then you just put your bevel on the tube and you are good to go. And that is a perfectly good notch, so you don't need like some professional tube notching setup that's like $500 to $1,000 for just to drill some damn fish mouths on there. So I would just do that. And then if you guys have ever heard of the Bentech Pro software, actually that's what it does anyway. In the software it just does the same thing, and it'll print out basically, so those shops, it'll print out the templates of the notch and tell them everything they need to do. So basically they come in and measure the car out, put it all on the computer, and then it poops it all out for you. And then it'll also give you the notches, so you put each little template on the end of the tubes, and you don't even have to worry about any kind of guesswork. So it's pretty cool. And that's kind of what I'm doing, just a cheaper version without the expensive software. I have my buddy at CenterTrack Fab do that for me. So let's fish this out a little bit, and then we'll just keep moving along. All right, just to show you guys real quick, I put a bevel on there, and then that's how my tube fits, which is perfect. It's a really good fit, man. And then you have that nice little fill-in gap there to actually penetrate. If you don't know, the reason you put that bevel on the edge of the tube there is so you can get good penetration. It exposes the metal in a different plane, I guess you could say. That way the heat doesn't just have to go straight through all of it. It kind of has like a taper to it, which makes it easier to penetrate. So if you're using maybe like a smaller amperage welder, that could help you get penetration. So now all I'm gonna do is stick this up in the back of the hoop and mark out with a marker where it hits those boxes, and then we'll just cut that off with a saw and then bevel it, clean it up, get it to fit good, repeat. All right, guys, real quick, I just went ahead and printed out some more of these coping calculator templates. I just want to show you real quick. So I just cut it out with scissors, and then I put a piece of tape on there, and then you just put this on your tube, you tape it around there, and you have yourself a cool little notch template. And then all you gotta do is cut it out with a cutoff wheel and grind it down with a flat disc. But basically all I did here was I took, for example, a straight tube, I put it where I wanted it, I put an angle finder on there, which is my little digital gauge. Let me show you that real quick. So I use this little one, it's called the Angle Cube. You can get this on Amazon for like 38 bucks or something like that. And then so basically I put that where I want it, I put that on top of here. It read 23 degrees. Now if you make a 23-degree notch, it's gonna be wrong. So what you want to do, because you're trying to meet that with a 90-degree tube, you're gonna subtract the 23 degrees from that 90, which leaves you with a 67-degree notch, and that's what I printed out over here. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on my tube. I'm gonna notch that out, and then I'm gonna test fit it. If it's good, we'll just clean up this tube, get it all polished up, ready for paint, and then we'll tack it at the end of the cage process, because I'm actually gonna be dropping, I'm gonna weld the bottoms and everything that I can get to, drop the cage, weld the tops, and then I'm gonna bring it back up. And just so it doesn't mess with dropping the cage and the ability to get good access to weld the tops of those A-pillars, I'm going to wait to actually tack those in place. But at least everything's all cut up, ready to go, so all we have to do is weld. That's the hardest part. So let's get back to work, and I'll show you how those come out. Alright, so I got one of those in there. As you can see, there's the notch. Came out pretty sweet. I need to trim it a little bit more on the inside there, and that's not the notch template, it's just me. I just need to trim it out a little bit more, and then that'll slide down just a little bit more. But you can see the anti-intrusion bars looking slick. And then basically I'm just gonna do another tube coming from here to here. And then now you can kind of get an idea why I don't want to tack those in place yet, so I could drop the cage first and weld everything else out first. That way I can get to these welds that are like literally touching the shell of the car. So that's touching all the way across, which would make it like impossible to get to. So we will wait on tacking those in place, but those are pretty quick and easy to do. And then yeah, I need to make two more verticals, or actually 3 verticals over there, because I'm not that's just like a spacer, I'm not actually using that. So 3 verticals there, that would complete the door bar. And then hopefully I can pop those out of place somehow, and then weld those outside the car. And then I need to still cut this reinforcement plate, whatever you want to call that. That way I can get the door bars to touch against that outer skin, just get some more clearance for my seat and my arms and everything. Alrighty guys, so we got that anti-intrusion bar in there. So I kind of got another one made up over there already. I finished up the door bar. None of that's tacked in place. It's just fitting so tightly that it's sitting there. Literally none of that is tacked in place. It's all just sitting there by itself. I think I'm gonna redo the windshield bar because it's irritating me the way it's fitting right now. So I'll try to fix that notch, but if it's not, I will just trash that and start fresh, cut that up for scrap. And I did get this one done as well, so it'll be quick and easy to do the other side. But that just fits in there like that, and it's right there on there for a good strong node. So that'll be a good strong cage. If you guys don't know, a node is where you try to meet all the tubes together that you can. For example, right here, this isn't ideal. You'd probably want this to be up here, and then this one here, and then the rear here, but it's pretty close and it still fits really well. So everything else in combined, I think it'll be strong cages still. So yeah, I don't want to screw up a bunch more than I need to. So I played that 8-pillar as safe as I could, but man, it's coming on nice. Super excited, super freaking excited. The door bar is like exactly what I want. I'm still debating if I'm gonna do a sill bar on the bottom there across from the main hoop to the 8-pillar, and then 3 more verticals, but I can't do it anyway. I'm out of tubes, so we will have to pick that up next time. We still need to cut out the left door skin, but for now, that's a lot of good progress. So thank you guys so much for watching. Tons of stuff coming up. As soon as we get done with the fab work and the rear, the fuel cell, we can start assembling the engine. I got a stroker kit for the L33 aluminum block 5.3 liter, which is now going to be a 5.9 liter. We got origin arrow to install, fresh powder coated front subframe, rear subframe, solid mount bushings, welded diff. We got tons of shit to do. So maybe one of these days this week I'll head up to Whittier and I'll show you the D&D workshop, and then we'll pick up my new seat. Those guys are pretty cool. And yeah, so if you're enjoying the content, just stay tuned. I'm trying to make this as fun as I can, but I mean, a lot of this shit's boring. So if you guys want to see something more in detail or less in detail, just let me know and I will try to accommodate you as best as I can. But for now, this is my project, and thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.
What we do here is go back.